This one's a laugh riot, folks. Premier Notley, in like a pro wrestling match, is now going to be, quotes, squaring off against her good friend Tzeporah Berman, the same person that Premier Notley appointed to be her top advisor on the oil sands as co-chair of the NDP government's oil sands advisory group. Now, when it became clear that Ms. Berman was using that position to do nothing but try to shut down Alberta's energy industry, the NDP feigned shock. They couldn't have imagined that Ms. Berman was a committed ideological opponent of our energy industry. What a load of rubbish, folks. As far back as, for example, 2011, Ms. Berman was quoted as saying, "We need to shut down the tar sands." In 2013, she said oil is corroding our democracy. In 2016, before her appointment, she compared Fort McMurray to, quotes, Mordor, which is another word for hell. And then in July of that year, just a couple weeks later, the NDP appointed Tzeporah Berman to be their top oil sands advisor. Everybody knew where this person stood, supporting illegal protests, as she's been doing down in Burnaby to stop the construction of the Trans Mountain Pipeline. And this is why, in the legislature, I asked Premier Notley if she regretted now having appointed a Greenpeace radical Tzeporah Berman to be her top oil sands advisor. And here's what Premier Notley said in response. Can they just admit it was a bad call?
What I can admit is that the Climate Leadership Plan has put us closer to building a pipeline than ever. I hope that the member opposite will celebrate the success when it happens.
And so now, as you know, the Alberta Teachers Union bosses have invited Ms. Berman, undoubtedly with a fat honorarium check, to come and speak to our social studies teachers about why we need to shut down the industry that is the engine of Alberta's economy, and by the way, generates the tax revenues that pays the teachers' salaries. And so Premier Notley is going to show up at the convention and tell Ms. Berman what's what. I'm sorry, Premier, nobody's buying it. This is way too late and way too little. You gave Tzeporah Berman the credibility, the platform, the position, the profile of the government of Alberta. You never should have done it, and it's time you just fessed up. So when you're speaking to the Teachers Convention, Premier, please just apologize to Albertans for the insult paid to our energy workers by having appointed this anti-energy zealot to be your top oil sands advisor.